Thank you for watching. This car, you haven't seen it in a few weeks. That has a number of reasons, but still I want to pick up where we left off last time around. Last time around you have seen this car on the outside completely covered in liquid mask, and I had painted up the inside of the body. The only thing that I had left to do, at least I thought so at that point, was putting on a clear coat, that flat clear on the outside. Turned out that I came up with a few more ideas, which I will walk you through as this video progresses, but it turned out to be a bit more than 1 day of work, which I initially had planned for or hoped for. So what happened? Why has it been a few weeks? First of all, I had ordered some gear at RTR. That's the people who have built the full-scale Hoonicorn. And I ordered some gear there. You can see cap, t-shirt, stuff like that. I wanted that to come in for this final wrap-up video. And then it got held up in customs. It's really funny, Norwegian customs, they seem to think that everything contains cocaine, heroin or ecstasy, even when it's like really clear that it's just a cap or a t-shirt. So well, that kind of messed with my schedule for I think 2 weeks already. And then straight after that I got a mad throat infection. I think you can still hear it a tiny bit. So that took away my voice, and it left me with a super annoying cough, which is sort of going away right now, which I'm really happy for. So, in brief, that's why you're seeing it now and not anytime sooner. The body that I worked with, you have been able to see it in the past few videos as well, because I've already mentioned it. It does not come with a clear overspray from the outside, which is, on one hand, it's really annoying. On the other hand, it's not that much of a problem. The Hoonicorn has a lot of flat, clear spots on the outside and a lot of gloss, and I needed to pick that contrast as well and replicate it to make this car look like the real deal. The whole zebra effect that you see going on the side, more or less, it looks random at first, and then when you have a bit of a closer look at the pictures of the real car, then you kind of come to the conclusion that it's not that random. There's a lot of thought that went in the paint scheme, in the way that car looks. It's one of those cars, the longer you look at it, the more you start to appreciate what they actually did. Not just when it comes to the technique involved in building a custom chassis, because the full-scale car has like a custom chassis, and then the way that the engine sits in there, and well, in their case the four-wheel drive system, but also all the finishing and all the details. It's a really, I think, a really nice take on a classic car. So I needed to replicate those flat spots and those glossy spots. So I took out my Sharpie, and first of all I started to mark up everything as close as I could. I think I've seen about 80 or 90 pictures of the real deal, and I mean, this was like a month ago, so this is when the car was still super fresh, when it was really difficult to get some detailed shots of it. So the parts that I could not find, I needed to sort of come up with something myself. And then also with this body, because I'm using a fastback instead of the regular two-door with the flat boot lid. Yeah, it is a bit different, and it also forced me to think a bit different in some areas. So I needed to come up with my own lines in certain areas of the car where I could not fully replicate the one-to-one paint scheme, which is not a big deal at all. The thing you need to really keep in mind, and my most important advice always when painting, make sure you hit all of your lines and take your time. And if you start to lose your patience, then just step away. Go do something else for a tiny bit. There's no rush, there's no time frame in which you need to get stuff done. It can take a month to do a good paint job. If you don't really feel like it, just wait for the spark to come back, and wait for you to really be geared up about it again, and regain your patience and regain your spirits first, before you try and I don't know, rush yourself into something that you're not comfortable with, because there you will mess it up. I can guarantee you that. After you've cut everything, start peeling, and peel it in sections. Also cut it in sections. Just separate the car in a front fender, door, the rear fender, the boot lid, the roof. Just take it from there. That way you have something that's easy to understand, easy to trace. You won't lose track of whatever it is that you're doing, and you can add as much detail as you want. You can just step back in every section, have a look at it, decide if you maybe need to add a few more cuts, add a few more lines. It is your project. Just take the time and all the liberties that you want. It is after all RC, and it is after all about having fun. So that's also something that I like to do. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be completely according to how the original looks. If you're doing a replica paint job, if you think that something else might look a tiny bit better, then just follow your gut feeling and go with that. After peeling everything, especially with one of these zebra type of paint jobs, it's really important not to start peeling the wrong stuff. So make sure you peel all the right stuff, and that will be a bit of a mind trick, because the stuff that you peel out, you want that to appear matte, but once you're starting to peel it, that will of course be glossy because there's no flat clear on it yet. So you're kind of stuck with the exact opposite of the result that you eventually want to achieve. So it is something that you really need to stay concentrated on, that you're not accidentally peeling out the wrong sections. It is a bit of a mind bender, a bit of a puzzle, but it's also a nice challenge to try to get things right, and also to try not to skip certain steps, because it is almost impossible to backtrack once you have applied that clear coat and once you're starting to peel off the remaining masking. When putting on the clear coat, the further away you keep your can of PS55, the flatter it will appear and the more coarse of a layer you will put on the car. And you want to apply more than enough as well. So having a few different layers and keeping the can away as far as you can will give you a really nice effect. There is not a whole lot of contrast going on in the Hoonicorn on those main body sections, but still a noticeable contrast. And that's also exactly what I wanted to have on the car. So keeping the can away a bit further will give you a bit more of a matte finish. Once that was done, I needed to peel off the rest of that liquid masking film. There as well, it is crucial that you take your time and that you weed out each and every single section separately, and that you make sure that you don't miss any stuff that's still stuck to the body. Not that it will be impossible to backtrack that, but it will look a bit stupid. And that's also the part where I started to finally see what I had done up to this point. When I finished up the interior, the paintwork on the inside, there was no way for me to see any of the result on the outside with the liquid mask still being stuck to the complete outside of that body. So I had no idea how crisp or how sharp my lines actually looked. And when I took off the remaining liquid mask on the outside, that's where I started to see some results. And that's also when it starts to be really fun, when you see stuff really coming together. The only thing I had left to do was painting up the rear spoiler. The rear spoiler is nothing more than a cutoff that I had from the rear bumper. The rear bumper has a diffuser in there, which I made from styrene combined with some mesh. And then I decided to use that cutoff to make a spoiler, which I painted on the outside. That's also when I found a quite cool technique. I discovered it by accident when I dropped a piece of masking tape on a printed piece of paper. And when I took it off really gently, I found that the print work actually rubs off on the sticky side of the masking tape. You can also apply that to the inside of a body if you choose to do so. In this case I used it on the outside just to copy some lettering and to make sure that I could put that on the rear spoiler before eventually also clear coating that. Now I wanted to add a tiny bit of extra detail, so I decided to go for some rivets around the windows. I wanted to have those copper colored wheels. Mine are a bit more of a copper color than a gold color, just because I thought that the gold looked a tiny bit tacky. So in that spirit I also went for copper rivets around the windows. I went to my local hardware store, I got some copper nails. Copper is really easy to work with. It's one of the softest metals out there. So I cut them all to length, and then I decided to make like a certain spacing around every window. Cut holes in there with my Dremel, or drill holes in there rather. Put the nails in there, hot glue them on the inside, and that way replicate something that looks like it's a riveted in window. It's a lot of work. It's quite scary to do, because you can with the finishing line inside you can completely ruin your body, but that's also part of the fun. If you don't take risks like that, you will never see what it will turn out like. And I'm happy that I did it, because it adds, well, just a tiny bit of extra stuff to look at in this particular shell. Also on the sides I have those styrene bits with the RTR logos on there, the mesh behind it, and then on the hood I have that homemade hood scoop that I made from two HBI Baja side pods that cover up that V8 engine that pokes through the hood. I think all in all, after I bolted everything together and dropped it on the chassis, it turned out really nice. It's a car that I'm really happy with and really satisfied. What I've left to do after bolting everything together was making some rims and tires. I had some centerline rims laying around with a small diameter tire, which I did not like. So I decided to hack up a set of Formula 1 rear rims and glue those to the rear rims, to those rear center lines, before giving them a coat of copper colored paint. I have found that on my previous build, on my Dodge Challenger Dragster, I have also used some Formula 1 wheels. Those had a plastic sidewall, and I came across some Formula 1 fifth scale Formula 1 wheels with a complete rubber sidewall. They're really easy to stretch over some of these on-road rims, and that was for me, it was vital to give me the look that I wanted to have. Keep in mind this whole setup with a bigger rear tire that I used. You can only use this on a two-wheel drive car. The FG four-wheel drives, they're belt driven, so they have a spool in the back that's as big as the spool in the front, thus giving you equal amount of rotation front and back. Then if you have a bigger diameter tire in the rear than in the front, it will give you a lot of problems when running it. If I want to run this car the way that Ken Block ran his, so in a four-wheel drive drifting setup, I can still do that. I have an extra set of front rims, so the smaller diameter rims, and it will easily allow me to drop this entire body with the rims, small rims then on all four corners on my FG four-wheel drive chassis, thus replicating something that is actually four-wheel drive. Just when it comes to stance and when it comes to overall looks, I really like those big fat tires in the back. I think it gives the car a lot more of a meaner look, a lot better stance than it would have with similar tires on all four corners. I guess that wraps things up for now. Again, it's been a really long time. I needed to go through all of my footage to see what I actually did. This was, I think, my most labor-intensive fifth scale shell to date. Really fun one to do. Discovered a lot of new techniques, like used, like scoring the headlights, combining some styrene, combining some mesh, making those rivets. Overall I had a really good time throwing this thing together, and I cannot wait for the snow to finally disappear on the outside and taking it for a spin. Hope you enjoyed watching this brief build series, showing you how you can replicate any car out there, bend all the rules, make it your own. It doesn't matter, nobody can tell you what to do and what not to do. Just make sure you have fun in the process. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Any questions, comments whatsoever, leave them in the box below and I will try to respond to them. And if you want to be a bit ahead of what I'm doing over here, have a look at the links in the video description box. There's a link to my Instagram, to my Facebook, and those are always a tiny bit ahead of what I'm doing over here. So I hope to see you over there as well. Remember to have fun, take care, and I hope to see you around. Bye bye.